All right, so we're going to continue with order of operations and evaluating expressions. I want to start today's notes off. So this is just a continuation of yesterday's notes. So get yesterday's notes out. Your note should be titled Order of Operations and Evaluating Expressions. And this is just going to continue as day 2. So the first thing that I want to talk about is I want to remind you that the order of operations, known as PEMDAS, is parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide in the order they appear, whichever comes first, from left to right, and then add and subtract again in the order that they appear from left to right. So I want to do example number 4. So take a minute and write down this example. You may need to pause the video. Example number 4 is 9 minus 3 to the second power, or 3 squared, depending on how you like to say that, plus 2 times 3. So order of operations says I have to take care of the exponent first. 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 times 3. The next thing that I have to do according to order of operations is multiply. I have to take 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So now I have 9 minus 9 plus 6. Well, 9 take away 9 is 0. So my final answer is 6. Now I know that this one says your turn, but we're going to do it together anyway. So the problem, negative 6 minus 4 squared minus 3 times 6. Order of operations says I have to take care of the exponent first. 4 squared is 4 times 4. So I have negative 6 minus 4 times 4, which is 16, minus 3 times 6. The next thing I do according to order of operations is take care of multiplication. 3 times 6 is 18. So now I have negative 6 minus 16 minus 18. So remember when we learned about adding and subtracting integers, I said that you could circle the terms. Is this same signs, add and keep, or different signs, subtract? I have a negative 6 and a negative 16. The signs are the same, so I'm going to add. 6 plus 16 is 22, and keep the sign, and bring down the next term, negative 18. I'm going to do the same thing, circle the two terms. Negative 12 and negative 18, are the signs the same or are they different? They're the same, they're both negative. 22 and, I think I said 12 before, sorry. Negative 22 and negative 18, signs are the same. I'm going to add. 22 and 18 is 40, and keep the sign. Negative 40 is my final answer. So we're going to talk about some definitions here. What is a variable? A variable is usually a letter. It could be a symbol, like maybe a smiley face. And it just represents a value that can change, or an unknown. Okay? So we use variables when we want to represent a value that can change, or we want to represent an unknown. An algebraic expression is just an expression that has a variable in it. So an expression, remember, is just any type of mathematic operation. 2 plus 3 is an expression. 3 minus 5. 2 to the third power. So it becomes algebraic when we add a variable. Remember, order of operations, we already reviewed those, but I'm going to write it down again. PEMDAS. The most important thing about that is to remember that multiply and divide, interchangeable, it happens in the order they appear. Same thing with add and subtract. What does it mean to evaluate an expression? When we evaluate an expression, we substitute let me spell that right. We substitute a value in for a variable. Keys to success. Number 1, write down the problem. Number 2, do one step at a time. Number 3, show your work. Okay, so we are going to evaluate some algebraic expressions. So I am going to do examples 1, 2, and 3 with you, and then you are going to do the your turns as your homework. So example number 1, the directions are to evaluate. We have 4 times the quantity 2x plus y minus 6. But it tells you that x equals -2 and y equals -3. So we're going to rewrite this problem by substituting in the values for the variables. So I really have 4 times the parenthesis 2, and when I have 2, like any number matched up to a variable, that operation is times. So I really have 2 times -2 plus 3. And this is all in a parenthesis. I'm going to turn these parentheses into a bracket. And then on the outside, I have -6. So order of operations says I have to do what's inside of a parenthesis first, but the operation inside the parenthesis is multiply and add. So I really have to take care of this first. 2 times -2, 2 times -2 is -4. So now I have -4 plus 3 inside of my bracket. Notice that I'm just doing one step at a time. Now I'm going to use the order of operations and do what's inside of my grouping symbol or my parenthesis. -4 plus 3, well, those are different signs. So I'm going to subtract. 4 take away 3 is 1. Keep the sign of the bigger, which is the 4, so it's negative. So my brackets have been reduced to a -1. Rewrite my problem. So keep moving on. So I have order of operations. Do I do the multiply, 4 times -1, or do I minus the 6 first? I have to multiply. 4 times -1 is -4. Rewrite, bring down my -6. Now I'm down to my last 2 terms. I'm going to circle them. Are they the same or are they different? The signs are the same. Same signs, add and keep. 4 plus 6 is 10. Keep the sign, -10. This is my answer. Okay, let's do it again. This next one is a little bit tricky. It has some fractions in there. So remember, I'm changing the variable m to the number 4 and the variable n to the number 2. So I need to rewrite the whole problem. So I have 1/4 times, I'm going to turn it into a bracket, 2 times, what is the value of m? 4, and I have to square that, minus 3 times the value of n, which is 2, and I have to cube that and I'm going to close my bracket. All right, order of operations says I have to do what's in the parentheses or the grouping symbol, but inside that grouping symbol is some exponents. I have to do these first. So I have to figure out what this is, and I have to figure out what this is. So let's do that. I'm going to rewrite the whole problem. So 1/4 times the bracket, 2 times, what is 4 squared? 4 squared is the same thing as 4 times 4, which is 16, minus 3 times, what is 2 to the 3rd power? 2 times 2 times 2, or 8. Close my bracket. Now I have to simplify inside that parenthesis again. 1/4 I don't know why that moved over there. 1/4 times 2 times 16 is 32, minus 3 times 8 is 24. We're getting there. You're doing a great job. Let's see. 32 minus 24 is 8. Now I have 1/4 times 8, which is the same thing as saying 1/4 times 8 over 1. I know that I have to multiply fractions straight across. 1 times 8 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. And this entire problem reduces to 8 over 4, which is 2. That was tough. That one was tough. Let's do one more. All right. F is going to be replaced with -3. G is going to be replaced with 4. And H is going to be replaced with -5. So F, -3, times the quantity 3 plus 2 times G, which is a 4, close my bracket, minus H, which is -5, and the whole thing is going to be squared. All right, so this -3 I'm just going to keep on the outside. I need to do the operation inside of the bracket. 3 plus 2 times 4 is 8. Close my bracket. Minus, I can take care of this exponent. -5 squared is -5 times -5, which becomes a positive 25. All right, now I have -3 times this value in the parenthesis. 3 plus 8 is 11, minus 25. Well, -3 times 11 is -33, minus 25. Notice that I have same signs. I'm going to add and keep, equals -58. God bless you. -58. Okay? So you are only going to complete these 3 assignments, these 3 problems. You are only going to complete these 3 problems. I want to remind you about absolute value. I want to remind you about absolute value. If something is inside of absolute value signs, it ends up equaling a positive. So whether I have a -4 inside of the absolute value or a +4, the end result is 4.